We're here at the investment tour. The church behind us is going to be the first stop of this tour. Check it out. So basically, Ryan's client purchased this church.
Came on the market, it was priced very low for the square footage of the building.
Yeah.
So it was just kind of like curious as to what was going on there. So we looked up the zoning, found out that you could do a multiple dwelling. So with that, you can basically convert it to residential. You got to do an environmental anytime you're changing from a commercial. Even though the zoning's staying the same, the use is changing.
Yeah.
So then you have to do like an environmental, like basically stage 1, and then if it goes through, you're fine. But it does take time to do that.
This client is unlocking a lot of value through all the work he's putting in.
Yeah, they're putting in a lot of work.
Like this client could not get a conventional mortgage to buy this property. It's a commercial property. They bought the property using a private lender.
Fund, so like 10%. But basically the idea for this is it's going to be chip chopped into basically 3 equal parts.
So on the purchase, financing is very difficult, but on the refinance, as a legal 6 unit, your options are much bigger and better.
You're going off of income.
Any questions from what you guys heard?
So it said like 3 months. So 3 months is just for the environment, or
3 months. I guess, do you want to share maybe again the timelines of the different stages?
Oh, the extra 3 months was, sorry. Okay, yeah, they actually got,
that's why you have to get it.
yeah, so basically it was the variance process. So they do like minor variance meetings. It's like every month and then they take, I think, certain months off.
But that's almost to be expected on a project of this size, right? When you see the next 2 properties, it's a triplex, duplex conversion. Those are very straightforward. You don't need a variance, it's allowed, right? We're doing what's allowed. Here, we're asking for variances, we're getting environmentals, there's a lot of steps involved, but anytime you go into a larger project, you have to expect that this is par for the course, right?
Yeah, you kind of run it in your numbers, so.
How old is this building? And the basement?
This building,
That's a very good question.
I know.
Probably 1800s?
No.
No? Not that old?
No. It wasn't even 100 years. It was under
really?
100 years. It was like 80 to 100 years.
I see.
I can't remember the exact
Was
date.
it like the 40s?
I think so.
It's the very initial
Structure, yeah.
That's right.
And so the one thing that you know, like historically, churches were always built to the highest building standard because they were like a place of sanctuary if anything ever happened, right?
Yeah.
So one nice thing is like structurally, they're really, really solid. Also, pretty much one of the only reasons why we could really consider this was this right here.
High ceiling.
The fact that like it's an old building, it has such high ceilings and such big windows, allows us to put units in the basement.
And it's a commercial mortgage you have to go through from the big banks or the
That's like
all the way.
you can go to a big bank, but that's typically, I mean, like Desjardins is another one. Like there's a couple other options out there, but like, yeah, your big banks are going to be
Tougher or easier?
not really tougher. Like, I mean, because you're qualifying based on the property, right? So you're not really involved that much anymore,
Okay.
right? Like say, you make a lot of money, but you have a lot of debts because you've got 8 rental properties. You get into commercial mortgages, they don't care. Property pays for itself, right? Any other questions?
Sure, when's the completion date? When are they anticipating this whole project to be completed?
Yeah, initially it was like 12 to 18 months. We're thinking it's going to be probably closer to 24, like 18 to 24.
Maybe 2 years.
Or is the additional 2 units, each one has the one?
One each.
One each.
There's 4 parking spaces, so the driveway fits without the big dumpster. It fits 4. It fits 4. And so basically, for Welland, they can be 3 any way you want them. They can be 3 side by sides, actually a little tricky.
Yeah.
But other than 3
Front to
side by
back?
side, you can do 3 stacked in a row. So the ideal way that you would think you would want them 3 side by side, that's the only way the city has a problem with it. There's now precedent for variance, so it's fine. So when we got this, we knew that there was like basically by the square footage of the basement, it's 1,200 square foot home, minus the furnace room, we're gonna have like 1,100 and change square feet down here. But basically we knew that we could easily do 1 bedrooms in here because we'd have at least 500 square feet. So when we did this, it was in where the stairs were really good because it just splits it. So there's no wasted space.
Yeah. And it goes to your point you were mentioning about the legal versus an existing one. So many times existing 2 units that aren't legal don't go through this process.
Yeah.
You may buy it, it has an apartment, but you look behind the drywall, there's nothing. It's like a 1/2 inch drywall, no soundproofing, no fire separation, right? So by doing this process, it's expensive, it's time, takes a lot of time, it's a lot of effort. But once it's done, you have a property that like you almost want to never sell it because you've done all of this work, you've brought it up to such a high standard. You know it's not going to give you trouble for decades, right? So.
Well, there's a new law coming into effect which might make this all negligible. But right now, basically right now, if you wanted to do both of these at the same time, there would be development fees.
Yeah, about 25,000.
Yeah, like not
development
pennies. Like, well, yeah, 25,000 a penny. It goes by square footage, I think, bedrooms. There's a few factors, but like it's at least 20,000.
So if a contractor's saying it's going to take roughly 1.5 to 2 months, that's not.
That's bullshit.
If your contractor's working only for you, no problem. But he's literally working. He's working only for you, and he's at your project every single day, and like. Yeah, and he's working
still not
hard.
believe it. Like I did a cosmetic reno, like not even a conversion, and it still took me a month.
Nice. There's potential. There's a lot of work still left.
This is one of the few things that can actually. What was your biggest takeaway from today's tour?
Honestly, just getting a little more well-versed with the duplex and triplex conversions. Until today, I didn't really know too much about how it worked, but it's nice seeing one project that was kind of under construction and another project that was fully finished. And seeing that church conversion as well was super nice for something down the line.
How did you feel about like the learning process?
It was really good. It was really informative. All 3 of the realtors on the team were amazing with answering our questions in regards to the construction as well as like placing tenants and stuff like that. So it's a first-hand experience, and you really get an idea about what the process is like from working with the team from start to finish. So that was amazing.